Hello, Seven Commanders, Dimebot here, and welcome back to another Elite Dangerous video. Today, I wanted to talk about payouts. So, I put a poll up on the channel the other day, asking if FDev need to revisit the payouts for exploration, considering that scanning and mapping and exobiology payouts are so radically different. Now, we got a decent number of votes. I'm not claiming that this is a representative sample size of the player base as a whole. However, this, along with some things that we've talked about on streams, just made me kind of want to talk about this a little bit more. So we had 88% that said, yes, scanning and mapping feels like it pays way too little. And then 12% said, no, both of them feel like they pay proper amounts. And then we also had a comment by Osnium that said, they should balance payouts as a whole. I shouldn't be able to afford the most expensive ship in an hour of scanning biology or get a carrier in a week on a fresh account. This, I think, kind of comes to the crux of a lot of what's going on sometimes with Elite Dangerous. You can see this in several aspects of the game. Let's take, for example, with ground stuff with suits and guns, how a suit costs as much as a gun for a starship. Things that just don't quite seem to match up. Now, traders and miners, hear me out. I know that there's plenty of money to be made by mining and space trucking around the trade routes. I've done it myself. I'm aware that those avenues pay very, very well. However, they pale in comparison to Exobiology. Exobiology, as you can see here by what I'm showing on screen where I turned in some Exobiology stuff, it is why when people ask, how do I make credits quick in Elite, everybody says Exobiology. You're getting bonus payouts that are, ridiculous. $40 million, 50 million credits. It's absolutely insane. And by contrast, planetary exploration, mapping, scanning, FSS, DSS, all that hasn't been tweaked in quite a while. And if you look at where I'm turning in some stuff here, we're seeing bonuses of 32,000, really just fairly sad in comparison to what you can get out of Exobiology. So here I've actually pulled a graph that I found. This comes from Reddit, and this should still be accurate because they've not really updated these payouts in quite a long time. And you can see here, so we have a list of planets. We have the FSS, that's the full spectrum scan, that's the system scan. Then we have plus first discovery. Then we have plus a detailed surface scan. So as you can see here, about the highest you're going to get with a full spectrum scan, a deep surface scan, and first discovery is an Earth-like world, about 3.25 million. That tracks with my own experiences, so I believe that that is fairly accurate. Let's go ahead and contrast that with the payouts from doing Exobiology. You could find one Stratum Tectonicus that pays 19 million. That's not with a bonus. That's 19 million by itself. That's a 16 million credit gap. And in universe, I don't feel that it makes a lot of sense. Why is finding and mapping an entire planet that could become home to humanity worth 16 million credits less than going and scanning a rock-looking thing on a planet? It doesn't make a lot of sense, and it's present in a lot of aspects of Elite if we talk about economy creep, but this one is particularly egregious, and I feel like they do need to rebalance it. Now, do I want them to balance it so that they push planetary payouts up? Sure, you could do that. Pull exobiology payouts down? I mean, that would make sense, but it'll never fly. People will have a collective heart attack saying that they're nerfing it and that they don't want us to make money and blah, blah, blah. All the things that always happen when FDev pulls back on monetary rewards. It was very, very common about 5 or 6 years ago. Whenever we would find a new money-making avenue, they would clamp down on it and everybody would erupt. So we have historical precedents that is probably not going to happen. But I do feel like there needs to be some more balance, something to make it make a little bit more sense in game. Now, if it was something like this newest specimen that has been found that has potential to do all sorts of good for humanity, yeah, maybe make that pay a lot more. But that's a specific lore setup that they would need to put in place, and that would be in a very limited basis. On a general basis, I feel like there is just such a wide gap, a wide disparity. Even someone like myself who loves exploring, I'm currently doing Distant Worlds 3, and I'm scanning and mapping an absolute ton of planets. I find it hard to actually find the will to map fully really huge systems. So I feel like there are a few things FDev could do to maybe make it worth it, and also maybe make you put in some effort, considering, we do have to go find 3 samples of something for Exobiology. Maybe put in a substantial bonus for completely FSS mapping and DSS mapping an entire solar system, and adding that to the first subscriber. Make that like a substantial bonus, but only if you do the entire system, because I know I see a lot of systems myself where somebody has clearly gone through and you can see where they've discovered planets, but they've only mapped the ones that are actually the higher values, like the Earth-likes, like the HMCs, the terraformable worlds. Make it so that there is a big payout for actually mapping an entire system, doing what an explorer should actually do, which is jot down every little detail. Maybe make that more comparable to the kind of payouts that you get for Exobiology. That's just a quick idea off the top of my head, but I think it could go a long ways towards maybe addressing some of the disparity there, because, again, going back to the comment that Osnium put in, and I've seen a lot of people put in, I shouldn't be able to log in and do a few hours of Exobiology on a new account and then be able to afford whatever I want. It makes absolutely no sense. And I don't want to shut new players out of being able to make money or gatekeep or anything like that. God knows I make enough tutorials that, there's no way that I want to gatekeep anything in this game ever, but it's gotten just a little bit too easy to make absolutely incredibly stupid amounts of money. As a lot of people say, the end-game grind now is engineering, and engineering can be boring as hell. Maybe find a way to spruce up these payout amounts, make it a little more worth people's while to get more deeply engaged with that gameplay loop, and carry this over into other gameplay loops. I feel like they did a good job with that with mining, making the Type 11 so beastly at mining. I find myself way more engaged with actually mining because I know that, I'm going to be getting a decent payout as compared to how it used to be with certain resources. And also, that Gatling gun is a hell of a lot of fun. And it doesn't have to be anything complicated. Like I said, the Gatling gun is fun. That was all it took to transform mining for me. Maybe I'm just a simple Dimebot, but Dimebot like a shiny gun. And I feel like there's not a lot of other players that wouldn't be like, yes, I have a shiny new toy. Let's go engage with this gameplay loop. Or they've adjusted this, and it's new and shiny, and let's go engage with this gameplay loop. That's really all I think they have to do. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comments down below. Are the payouts too widely far apart? Do they need to be adjusted down? Do they need to be adjusted up? What would you guys like to see them do? I look forward to reading them. And until next time, 07 Commanders, I'm Dimebot. I'll see you next time.